The most important Starship ever. What is going on with Ship 35? Pad B is changing by the day. SpaceX is aiming for 120 Falcon 9 flights a year from one pad in Florida. Firefly's Blue Ghost lander keeps amazing us. Rocket Lab is going to Mars for pocket change. My name is Felix. Welcome to What About It? Let's dive right in. In the wake of two Starship flight tests that ended early, SpaceX is approaching a seemingly more critical than ever flight test in Flight 9 with Ship 35 and whatever booster they decide to pair with it. That could be Booster 15-1, which just flew, Booster 14-1, which has been nestled in Mega Bay 1 for what feels like months, or the brand new Booster 16. This one has been Ship 35's testing companion at Massey's over the last few weeks. Always pressing forward and fast, SpaceX has put Ship 35 through 3 cryoproof tests at Massey's in the last week alone and has since rolled the ship back to the production site for further evaluation. Our own Jordan Guidry was on the ground for the rollback to Mega Bay 2 and caught these insane images as the monster rolled by. It's worth noting that Ship 35 is still without its aft flaps. SpaceX hasn't really had a chance to test these in the last 2 test flights due to the early demise of the last 2 prototypes. Ship 35 is more critical to SpaceX than maybe any other prototype before it. Meanwhile, Booster 16 is still hanging around at Massey's after its own spate of cryoproofing tests last month. There are no new road closures set at this time for its own rollback, but we'll keep you updated on anything new that happens. Engine installation for both of these test articles will be among the things we're watching for in the future as we inch closer to static fires and other testing leading up to Flight 9. Let's head over to Pad B. Since our last update, the entire area has undergone quite a few changes, none more evident than the giant flame trench, which is taking shape and getting closer to completion. If we take a close look at these photos and videos provided by our photographer Jordan Guidry, and also this shot from RGV Aerial Photography, we can see that the floor and both ends of the ramp are now fully outfitted with rebar. Workers have begun covering the rebar cage with a framework, which is necessary to achieve a smooth and seamless surface. We can also see the ends of the water pipes that will soon feed the flame diverter cooling system. A question worth pondering is whether SpaceX will decide to pour the concrete for this area before or after integrating the flame diverter, which is still located at the production site. But it is far from sitting there idly. It's getting closer and closer to being done. You can see just a few more of the curved pieces of pipe laying close by, and also there's only a few gaps left for these to fit. The flame diverter is going to be a highlight of Pad B and should also provide our photographer crew with a better environment for launch shots in the future. You know, less dirt. That means no huge billowing cloud of dust and debris obscuring the view. Just a little bit of steam. Pad B is shaping up to be a lot different than Pad A, and one of the more notable ways it is different is the massive steel frame being erected to house and protect the quick disconnect infrastructure. Since we last looked, a lot of horizontal reinforcement beams are being put into place, and as you can tell by these photos and videos, crews are crawling all over them, making sure every weld is perfect. SpaceX appears to be leaving no stone unturned to protect Pad B in the future from the truly insane forces of each Starship launch. In a way, Pad B is Block 2 of Stage 0. Let's just hope it doesn't have a design flaw. What do you think? Will Pad B fare better than Pad A? Will you miss the OG OLM? Let me know in the comments. We've also seen more giant water tanks get installed close to the pad and what appears to be trenches being dug to ferry that water to the flame diverter. The brand new launch mount will also feature a water-cooled steel plate just on top this time. So it's very likely that all this will be fed by the same tanks. Also, the giant SpaceX labeled black and white crane is being disassembled for the first time in years, and we're trying to find out why. One possible reason is that it can lift a heavier object than what is possible when it is at its maximum length. Could this be a preparation for installing either the flame diverter or the launch table? We'll have to wait and see if the disassembling process stops short of a full takedown or if it truly is the end for now. One thing that suggests a reconfiguration rather than a relocation is that Marvin will not need to load the flame diverter or the new launch table onto SPMTs for transport to the launch site. Both pieces of equipment have enough clearance space below them to fit the SPMTs under them. This likely was a conscious decision to eliminate the need to move one of the giant cranes into the crammed build site. Pad B is making good progress daily, we'll keep you updated. As we leave the launch site at Starbase, we make the big jump over to Florida, where SpaceX is implementing major enhancements to its launch facilities at Cape Canaveral. The goal is to address increasing demand from both commercial enterprises and critical US government missions, including national security operations and scientific research. SpaceX has proposed significant operational upgrades for Space Launch Complex 40. These are designed to substantially expand its launch capabilities. They intend to dramatically scale up their Falcon 9 rocket launches, moving from the current cap of 50 per year to an ambitious 120 launches annually from a single pad. This elevated launch rate is designed to accommodate a surge in demand from commercial satellite operators and government clients who rely on regular and timely access to space. A major component of the upgrade will be the construction of a new landing facility right next to Slick 40. This dedicated landing zone will include a concrete landing pad approximately 85 meters in diameter, surrounded by an 18-meter wide gravel apron, resulting in a total diameter of about 122 meters. Additional supportive infrastructure enhancements will include a nitrogen gas supply line for operations, a specialized vehicle processing pedestal, and secure storage and operational areas for cranes used in booster handling. The necessity for this new landing zone arises from the impending expiration of existing landing site licenses at Cape Canaveral. Without a new dedicated landing facility, SpaceX's ability to effectively recover and reuse Falcon 9 first stage boosters could be significantly impacted. The dedicated landing zone at Slick 40 will help to streamline booster recovery processes, enhance operational efficiency, cut down on turnaround times between launches, and reduce overall mission costs, maintaining SpaceX's competitive advantage. Landing zones right next to the pads is a smart idea. If SpaceX is going to launch more and more rockets, you can help us out in covering them. Help improve the channel and double check that you've hit the like and the subscribe button to stay up to date with our updates. It's free and it helps us bring you even better content. On we go with the moon, a very popular topic these days. Firefly Aerospace recently made history with its Blue Ghost lunar lander, achieving a major milestone by becoming the first fully private company to successfully land on the moon. You know, not tilted. Touching down in the Mare Crisium region, as shown here by this amazing video from the Scalps tool, Blue Ghost kicked off a busy lunar schedule filled with groundbreaking experiments and captivating imagery. This footage, by the way, is the first ever high-quality footage of engine-to-surface interactions during a lunar landing. Very important for future landings. The lander's total mission duration was 14 days, or 1 lunar day, which has come to an end with the start of the lunar night. Nevertheless, the craft has completed what may be considered the most successful lunar landing mission of the last 50 years. Once safely on the lunar surface, Blue Ghost immediately began conducting a series of fascinating experiments. It carried 10 state-of-the-art instruments designed to enhance our knowledge of the moon. For starters, Blue Ghost tested how sticky lunar dust actually is, which is crucial for future explorers who don't want their gear coated in fine moon powder. This is a piece of Gene Cernan's life support backpack cover. Apollo 17 spent more time on the moon than any other mission, but it still wasn't much. A bit more than 22 hours of time spent outside on the moon. Look at the damage that a short amount of time was able to inflict on the gear. This isn't everyday dust. Under a microscope you can see that these particles are as sharp as a razor. They wear down materials extremely fast and they are electrically charged. This means that any equipment is like a magnet to this nasty dust. It also placed special mirrors called retroreflectors on the lunar surface to help Earth-bound scientists precisely measure the distance between Earth and the moon with lasers. Pew pew! Lasers. Blue Ghost even took our GPS technology to the lunar level, checking whether navigation satellites can reach all the way to the moon to guide future missions. In one especially cool experiment, Blue Ghost literally shot electrodes into the lunar surface to measure electrical properties, helping scientists understand the moon's hidden subsurface layers. We have a video of it drilling into the lunar surface to check the temperature. I mean, wow, that is crazy. But the lunar show didn't stop there. Blue Ghost sent back stunning images of a sunrise and more, including an incredible view of a solar eclipse seen from the moon. The images captured the dazzling diamond ring effect as the sun peeked out from behind Earth. These images weren't just breathtaking, they also offered valuable scientific insights into solar and lunar phenomena. Also, we've literally never seen this before. These stunning images from space aren't just useful for astronomers, they are useful for us down here as well. The grind never stops at Starbase, and you know that conditions out here can be quite rough at times. To always stay on top of weather and keep ahead of the storm, you should have a look at what today's sponsor, MyRadar, has to offer. Dependable weather data is crucial for our daily work out here. We don't want to see a giant rocket lying flat by the side of the road because of an unexpected storm. SpaceX needs to track conditions closely at all times. MyRadar provides valuable advanced warnings, so never go unprepared when storms or flooding rolls in. MyRadar is for free. We use it to monitor any risks to the Y team and our 24/7 cameras at Starbase. And MyRadar can do so much more. You can monitor wildfires, track storms, and set up custom alerts. And then there is the one feature I love the most. You can follow orbital objects like rockets and even Mars rovers. So whether you are gearing up to hunt for rockets or staying ahead of the cold, MyRadar always has you covered. Click the link in the description to download it for free and stay informed about what's coming your way. MyRadar can be your radar right now. Back to the moon. Firefly Aerospace has not only demonstrated commercial capabilities, they have paved the way for future lunar exploration and beyond. If you can't wait for the next Firefly mission, you won't have to wait long at all. There's plenty more coming from our friends in Texas, and very soon. They're already preparing for their latest mission, Alpha FLTA 006. Message in a booster. This mission marks a significant step in their strategic partnership with Lockheed Martin, and it represents the beginning of multiple planned launches aimed at showcasing advanced space technology capabilities. The launch will be from Slick 2 at Vandenberg Space Force Base on an Alpha rocket, and the primary goal is to deploy its payload, which is Lockheed Martin's LM-400 technology demonstrator satellite, into orbit. This will be Firefly's 6th mission on its Alpha rocket. The most recent one launched on July 4th of last year with the Noise of Summer mission. Lockheed's LM-400 satellite is designed as a multi-mission satellite bus suitable for various applications, including communication, reconnaissance, and technology validation. It is basically a high-tech Swiss Army knife in orbit. The LM-400 is small enough to start out fridge size, but easily expandable to handle bigger missions, whether military, civilian, or commercial. What makes it stand out from other satellites is its SmartSat technology, which allows it to process data on board quickly. This means no more waiting for useful intel back on Earth. Missions can now get critical information in near real time, giving decision makers an edge they previously did not enjoy. A successful mission will not only launch another satellite into space, but also solidify Firefly's role as a reliable and flexible launch provider. It will strengthen its strategic partnership with Lockheed Martin, an important satellite producer. This is an important step forward, promising even bigger, more ambitious missions for both commercial and government space programs. SpaceX is preparing for the Fram-2 mission, a groundbreaking private human spaceflight scheduled for this spring. This mission will achieve the first crew journey above Earth's polar regions, flying over both the North and South Poles, a historic first for human space exploration. As hard to believe as it may sound, no human has ever traveled above the poles in space, and this mission will allow these lucky astronauts to see both of them. The Fram-2 mission's objectives will be both scientific and observational. The crew will observe and study unique aurora-like phenomena such as strong thermal emission velocity enhancement, or STEVEs. STEVEs, typically visible at altitudes between 400 and 500 kilometers. STEVEs. The mission will also pioneer medical research in microgravity, including capturing the first ever X-ray images of humans in space. The crew will enjoy a panoramic viewing cupola installed on the Crew Dragon spacecraft. This is something Inspiration 4 has used to provide stunning views of the Earth before. The crew includes Shun Wang, founder of F2 Pool, and Steakfish as the commander. Janneke Mikkelsen, an award-winning Norwegian filmmaker, serves as vehicle commander, documenting the mission's journey. Eric Phillips, an Australian polar adventurer, will take on the role of vehicle pilot, ensuring navigation and survival in extreme conditions. Rabea Rogge, a German robotics researcher pursuing a PhD in Norway, joins as a mission specialist, contributing expertise in autonomous technology for harsh environments. Notably, this mission will break a long-held record for crewed missions of the highest inclination previously held by the Soviet Vostok 6 mission, which was at 65 degrees. This mission will have an inclination of 90 degrees. Named in tribute to the historic Norwegian exploration vessel Fram, famous for pioneering polar voyages in the late 19th and early 20th century, the Fram 2 mission represents a significant milestone in human exploration, offering a unique perspective on polar regions while contributing vital scientific data. Can't make it to the poles? Wish that you could do something equally as adventurous as the Fram 2 astronauts? Check out redlineheli.com/Felix for a once-in-a-lifetime experience and $25 off flying in a helicopter above Starbase. The Redline helicopter team is waiting for you. They'll show you the same views our photographers get on their Starbase flights. The end of last week was a busy one for SpaceX. After a few delays ranging from ground service equipment to payload integration, SpaceX finally launched Crew 10 on its merry way to the ISS from LC-39A at the Kennedy Space Center. The 4 astronauts are staying on the space station for a long science-filled journey, and we're glad to finally see them on their way. Shortly thereafter, SpaceX fired up another Falcon 9 at Vandenberg, and this time it was for the Transporter 13 mission. This was a dedicated rideshare flight launching from Space Launch Complex 4, and it represented another exciting opportunity, providing cost-effective access to space for a diverse array of customers. These rideshares are fascinating. How many payloads do you think were on that rocket? Launching on a Falcon 9 that has already seen over a dozen previous missions, the Transporter 13 mission carried 74 payloads, including CubeSats, microsats, hosted payloads, a re-entry capsule, and an orbital transfer vehicle designed to deploy additional payloads later. Notably, the mission includes Varda Space Industries' W3 re-entry capsule, part of their ongoing efforts to develop orbital mini-factories. That sounds good. This mission represents another chapter in Varda's ongoing efforts to establish orbital manufacturing capabilities, particularly focusing on producing high-value materials in microgravity environments. Basically, factories in space, another item checked off of my sci-fi future wishlist. The W-series capsules are designed to operate as self-sustaining, free-flying orbital production satellites, with the unique capability of safely returning manufactured materials to Earth. Once in orbit, these capsules facilitate various manufacturing processes that benefit from microgravity, such as the production of specialized pharmaceuticals, fiber optics, and advanced materials. After completing the manufacturing cycle, the capsule re-enters Earth's atmosphere and lands via parachute, allowing for the retrieval and analysis of the produced materials. Prior to the W3 mission, Varda successfully launched and returned 2 prototype capsules, which shows that orbital manufacturing and re-entry are feasible. These missions proved Varda's microgravity-driven innovation, setting the stage for a major leap in production capabilities. We are really going to be able to build things in space and have them sent back here. Previous missions include Crew 7, CRS-29, PACE, Transporter 10, EarthCare, NROL-186, and 6 Starlink missions. Calculate the payloads the thing has brought up. To complete the trifecta, late Friday night, SpaceX also tossed 23 more Starlink satellites with direct-to-cell capabilities into orbit from Florida. Dude, it was refreshing to see so many missions go off without a hitch and in such a short time frame after what felt like more delays than usual in the previous week. Anybody remember Scrubtober? We do. We definitely do. Hey, even though Scrubtober was painful, a lot of you joined our community then, and we are still growing in numbers today. If you appreciate the content, become a channel member or a patron for extra content. Secure your access to up to 7 picture galleries per week, satellite, aerial and ground photos, and 3D animations. Chat with us and gain more insights on the topics you love. Thank you so much for your support. This might be the fastest show on YouTube. Let's head over to Mars. The topic of returning samples has been a hot one lately, and it looks like one of our favorite companies is basically saying, hold my beer. Rocket Lab plans to return Martian samples by 2031 for under $4 billion, a sharp contrast to NASA's original $7 billion mission, now projected to cost $11 billion with potential delays to 2040. 2040? I mean... Facing budget and timeline challenges, NASA is exploring streamlined alternatives, partnering with SpaceX, Blue Origin, and others to cut costs to $6 to $7 billion and target a return in the 2030s. That might be good. This exciting mission contains 4 main elements. First, there is the Mars Telecommunications Orbiter, which is designed to establish a strong communication link between the Earth and Mars. It also ensures data is continuously transmitted throughout the mission and supports the later phases. Second, there is the Sample Retrieval Lander and Mars Ascent Vehicle. After the MTO, a lander equipped with the MAV is deployed to Mars, where it is then tasked with collecting soil and rock samples. These are then loaded into the MAV, which subsequently launches these samples into Martian orbit. First launch from Mars ever. After this, the Earth Return Orbiter is dispatched to rendezvous with the MAV in Martian orbit. Upon successfully capturing the sample container, the ERO begins its return journey to Earth. As the ERO approaches Earth, the Earth Entry System ensures the safe re-entry and landing of the Martian samples, which sets up their retrieval for scientific analysis. Mark Watney is already waiting. Rocket Lab's mission proposal is attractive and unique because of its relatively lower cost and expedited schedule, which reflects a trend of private companies contributing to deep space exploration. By potentially making this type of mission feasible for less than $4 billion and a target return less than a decade away, Rocket Lab represents a competitive alternative to traditional, more expensive government-led missions. This shift highlights the potential for public-private partnerships to achieve significant scientific objectives more efficiently. That's it for today. Remember to smash that like button, subscribe for more. This is what fuels the algorithm, and this is how you can help us for free. Check out our epic shirts in your favorite Space Nerd store. A new Raptor design and our brand new Starship Block 2 design are both up. Link is in the description and in the card you should see now. Also, check out our print store at shop.whataboutit.space to buy a picture for your favorite wall. A significant amount of every purchase goes directly to our photographers, and if you want to learn more about the fascinating story of SpaceX's Raptor 3 engine, watch this video next to continue your journey. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Specialized vehicle processing full lunar landing, the lunar landing. A reconfiguration rather... There it is again.